Hi guys, it's Ani from Create Your Future, and today I have a success story from a client that is a one-on-one client with me, and she also tried out the Manifest Your SP Now course. Before we get into it, what I wanted to mention is I know there's a lot of questions about this. If you do want to try out the Manifest Your SP Now course, the link is in the description box down below. So what happens is when you try to sign up for it, or there's a date there. So I don't think that that's the date you're going to receive the course. That date is just there for the system, for like our end. So the minute you purchase the course, you are available to access it. Like, you can access it the minute you purchase it. So if you guys had questions about that, I hope that clears it up, because I know a lot of people ask about that. So again, when you go to purchase the course, it gives you a time. Like, for example, it probably says Saturday, 11 a.m. So let's say you want to purchase it on a Wednesday, right? But the date says Saturday at 11 a.m. Don't think that you will receive the course, or you'll be tuning into the course at Saturday at 11 a.m. It's really whenever you purchase it, that's when you have full access to it. So I hope that clears it up. Yeah, so for my success story, this client of mine, she had left her SP a while back, I believe maybe a year ago, because there was a third party present. There was a lot of issues. So for that reason, they split up, and then she had decided, like, nope, I am not going to, engage, or I'm not going to be a part of that situation until I manifest the third party out, and I create the best version of my SP. So we worked together. We did have one-on-one sessions together. She also did try out the course. So all of that combined, I'm happy to say her SP did reach out. SP did say no more third party present. So he has, changed. He's showing up differently, different approach, different behavior. They did go out multiple times. He is talking about commitment. So I'm so happy for you if you're watching, girls. Congrats again. And what I did want to go over, I know we always mention, quantum physics, or quantum reality, or quantum bubble. I want to explain that. So we always say, or I also always say, like, create a better version of SP, or let that version show up of SP, right? I want to explain that whole different versions part. So I did this with the client, and I think it's helpful. So imagine, so in quantum reality, in quantum physics, it's your perception or your observation that affects the world around you. So we also can say your assumption of another affects their behavior towards you, right? So this could, if you guys have experienced it with your SP, that's amazing. Just a simple, even example of you thinking of someone, right? And then they call you randomly. Like, you haven't heard from them in years. You just think about them like a slight second, and then, you go about your day, and then you get the call, right? So your assumption of them, or your focus of them, like, I wonder where they are. I haven't talked to them. It will be nice to talk to them, right? And then boom, they get that idea that you sent out, that assumption you sent out reflects back to you. So now they're wondering, I haven't talked to them, or I want to call them. Like, I feel this urge or craving to reach out to them, right? So that's just a small example of how everyone's you pushed out, but different versions. So imagine this. Imagine, like, all these tens represent a different version of your SP, right? Since we're talking about SP, it could be about anyone in your life. Like, even if it's like if you're trying to maybe recreate your boss to be, I don't know, to give you a promotion or just to think of you highly, appreciate you. It could be anybody. But let's talk about SP, since the success story is about SP. So each pen represents a different version of that person. And in quantum world, there's literally like infinite pens or versions of that person. So all these different versions, right? Okay, let's use less. Let's say 2 versions, okay? So this version is your current version of your SP, or just the version you've constantly been focusing on. And that version can be someone not showing up for you. That version can be, you know, not appreciating you. That version could be the version that chooses a third party over you, right? So knowing that there's multiple, you know, versions of that person, the way you activate a different version of that person, either you can recreate them, either you can focus on the better parts of them, the better characteristics of them, the maybe good memories you've had with them where they have shown you, you know, everything you've desired them to show you. So let's say this is that amazing version of your SP, right? And here's the undesired one, okay? So all of those versions are always present. It's not like the one disappears or just because you haven't focused on it for a while. So what we do, and remember, if you've seen it in any, if you've watched any of my videos, I always say persist in the desired version, persist in the version that shows up for you, persist in the version that wants what you want, because in reality, your desire desires you. That's why you even have the desire, is because you can create that version of that imaginal scene, that desire of that person. You have access to it. If you can think it, you can have it. So now here's this version that we've been struggling with. Here's this version that hasn't been showing up for us, right? What's happening is this version has become so dominant that it's like this now. Okay, like this version is the one you just keep bumping into. This version is the one you see. This version is what's in 3D. That's all you can focus on right now. What we want to do is we want to decrease the focus of this version and increase the focus of this version, better version, the one that shows up for us, the one that does everything we desire. You know, how do we do that? You have to not forget. You have to be indifferent, ignorant to this version that's been showing up all this time. The reason why it's been showing up, again, because it's the dominant. Every time this person showed you a characteristic you didn't like, you made it mean that, oh, this is just that person. No, he's never going to change, or she's never going to change. This is just that person, and they keep showing up in 3D. Truth is, 3D follows your assumption. So assumption happens, 3D orchestrates it not in your favor. It just orchestrates it. Assumption happens, 3D orchestrates it. You experience it in 3D. Again, now you experience it in 3D, causes you to focus on it more, causes you to create it more, causes you to experience it more, right? So how do we get out of this cycle? How do we break this cycle? Well, as much as you can, be ignorant and indifferent to this. Ignore 3D, ignore all these undesired characteristics, okay? So we're gonna put that down for a second. This version, this amazing version of your SP exists always. How do you make them show up that way? So persisting assumptions. And we say things like, you know, everything's working out in my favor. My assumptions create. There is this desired version of this person, and I'm experiencing it now, right? You can affirm these things. You can affirm, you know what, maybe that person was like that in the past, but now they're showing up so much better. My SP is showing up in my desired version, and I love it. Isn't it wonderful how much my SP is showing up for me, how much effort my SP is putting in to be with me, how attentive my SP is towards me. Or if you don't want to do specifically SP, you can go to your self-concept. If you watch my last video, I talk about self-concept. So even you're just working on self-concept, just general affirmations of I am chosen, I'm desired, I'm wanted, I'm pursued. Everybody in my reality goes above and beyond to meet my expectations. Everybody in my reality sees me as a magnet. They're drawn to me, they see me as this amazing person that they want to be around constantly. I'm unique, I'm one of a kind. So we can focus on this amazing version of your SP or whoever it is that you're manifesting by being not ignorant, sorry guys, it's indifferent, like ignoring it, ignoring the current version, ignoring the version that's been showing up this whole time, and focusing on how amazing that person can be. You can use memories with this person of when they were showing up the way you wanted them to. You can imagine, you can visualize, or if you can't do any of that because it's just it doesn't feel good to you, just work on how amazing you are, how magnetic you are, how anybody would want to show up like that person for you, how anybody would want to be in your presence 24/7, be in your company, call you, text you, always. So I hope this example helps, guys. I did use it for a few clients and they did start, I know it's a small thing, but they did start getting more and more of the hang of it, and they started seeing results through their SP. So it's always about what we do now creates what we will experience going forward. So what is currently happening in 3D, and I say it in almost every video, but I'm going to say it again because it's so necessary. It's so crucial. 3D is dead. Okay. So let's say 3D is your old thoughts and beliefs about yourself. 3D is your old thoughts and beliefs about that person. So there's a little bit of lag time. So you might think something today, something negative, or just, oh, nothing's working out for me, or you might just feel helpless and not chosen. You might see that evidence maybe a week later, 2 weeks later through that person. If you're persistent in those thoughts, if those thoughts are dominant, you will eventually see that. What we want to do is, if it's happening now or if it's happening in your head, we want to dismiss those thoughts because focus creates, right? So we don't want to focus on that because the consequence of that is more negative experiences. So every single person in your life is you pushed out. I'm even you pushed out. If you guys resonate with me, then, I'm saying things that maybe you've been thinking, right? That happens a lot. So many of my clients, they're like, I always felt something listening to you. And then their story sounds very similar to my, story that I went through. So I'm able to give all the pointers that, match their story. So it's crazy how that works, but it's your power. It's literally everybody's you pushed out, and you guys can practice this. I would say practice this by, writing a list of mini manifestations. You can intend certain people in your life say certain phrases to you. Maybe someone says, hey, your hair is looking so amazing today, or your makeup's looking so good today, or just something that they wouldn't usually say. You can practice it, and then once you practice more and see evidence of it, you'll start realizing oh my god, my focus really, really creates. It's not just a coincidence. It's none of it. It's, this person has not said this phrase to me ever. I'm the one that thought of it. I'm the one that intended it. And now I'm hearing it in my 3D from that person, directly to me. So I want you guys to try this out. I want you to experiment with this. I want you to start disciplining your thoughts. And again, remember, there's all these different versions of the people you're dealing with in your reality, and none of them are really trying to hurt you. It's just, which one are you focused on more? Are you focused on that one person treating you like a jerk? Are you focused on that one person being a sweetheart to you, always, putting an effort for you, always showing up for you? Are you focused on that person just being a rude person? You know what I mean? Like, there's so many versions of people. There's infinite versions. It's so amazing how you're in control of which version you experience, right? And that's quantum physics. That's the quantum bubble we keep talking about. That's quantum reality. And that's also quantum jumping. You've probably heard, if you're, researching all this, you've probably heard of quantum jumping. So how that works is you literally jump from one reality to another, or one version of a person to another, by just persisting in that one version. So if this makes sense, you guys comment down below. If it's more clear to you now, like how there's different versions. What I would get confused with, like a long time ago when I was first starting this, what I would get confused with is I would think like so I would think there's just one version of my person, right? So there's this one version. I've been just seeing this person the way they are, right? And then to recreate them, I would think that I have to literally just revise every single characteristic they have about themselves, instead of just seeing them as the person that I wanted to see them. So if that makes sense, like, you don't have to fix every single thing about the current 3D version. You just have to switch your thought to, you know what, this person can show up actually as an angel. This person can show up as a very, very, very amazing person, like they once have with me. And probably if you are thinking that, yeah, in the beginning of our relationship, they did show up that way with me, it's because either you didn't have any history or opposing thoughts about them. You didn't have any evidence to prove otherwise. That's why you just saw them as, oh yeah, you are this beautiful, amazing person the way you're showing up right now. Or your self-concept was good. Your self-concept was feeling like, I am attractive, I am chosen, I am worthy enough, I'm worthy enough of this person, showing up the way they are. What happens is, this amazing person, right? This is how it goes sour. Relationships, or just anything with anyone. This person shows you a little bit of behavior that doesn't sit right with you, right? Maybe they say a comment, they say one thing that really maybe hurts your feelings, or you take it personal. You don't catch your thoughts in that moment because you don't know everyone's you pushed out. You don't know you have to catch your thoughts at that moment, or else you're creating more of it, right? So they show you one little behavior. It doesn't sit right with you. Okay? I'm going to bring the different versions of this person. So this person shows you one little behavior that doesn't sit right with you. Now you start thinking. Now you start doubting, like, do I really know who this person is? Maybe I don't know who you are. Maybe you are this mean person. Maybe you are trying to hurt me, right? So this focus now, because your focus creates, your assumptions create. Now what you're doing is you're pushing this down, and you're starting to doubt them. You're starting to think, maybe you're a jerk. Maybe you're there just to hurt me. Maybe you're a narcissist, right? Things like this come up when you're not consciously aware of everyone's you pushed out. So then, because you focused on that way of thinking, this has to be now more dominant. This has to show up in 3D. The version that's proving your assumptions are correct. Because remember, universe always wants to prove that you're right. No matter what assumptions you create, you're right. Because you're God of your reality. So you start seeing them as less than perfect or less than your desired person, they start proving it to you. They prove it, and you keep unconsciously creating that. You see, I was right. See, I was right. See, I was right. They're not the person I thought they were. This disappears. Now you have this version of that person. Now you're like, how the heck did I go from that amazing version of that person to this version? So I hope this example made sense, guys. If you are currently experiencing that, remember, focus creates. Remember, 3D, we're not paying attention to 3D because 3D is your old thoughts and assumptions and beliefs and fears. 3D is like, again, I'm going to say it. Remember, if I cut my hair, this dead hair, right? If I cut it and throw it into my 3D, it's old, dead. Would I take it back and stick it on my head and say, look, fresh hair, fresh long hair? No, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't. Because once it's dead, it's dead. Once anything is dead, it's dead. Like a little insect or a spider. You wouldn't react to a dead insect the same way you would react to a live one, right? Like, let's say there's a spider or a snake or whatever, and you're like, oh my God, it's going to bite me. It's going to be poisonous. It's dangerous, right? You would react to it because it's alive. But if it's dead and you see it's dead, you're not going to be like, oh, you're going to bite me. It's going to be so dangerous. You're not going to do that. You're just going to be like, there's nothing to worry about. That's in the past, right? So that's how I want you guys to treat 3D. Nothing to worry about. What I do now, that's what I need to worry about, because now is live. Now it's the present moment. What I do in my present moment, I will receive more and more and more of it in going forward in my 3D, right? So I hope that was helpful, guys. If you guys are interested in one-on-one coaching, link is in the description box down below. If you guys are interested in the Manifest Your SP Now course, it is in the link in the description box down below. Thank you for everyone that is sending in all this positive evidence you're getting. I love hearing it. I love it. It makes me so happy. And again, for the Manifest Your SP Now course, if you want to sign up, if you want to purchase it, it will show you a date and time there. Don't worry about the date and time. It's for our end. It's for the system. But the minute you purchase it is when you have access to it and when you receive it. So if you're purchasing it on a day, like again, Wednesday, like if you're purchasing it on a Wednesday and the system says, oh, Saturday at 11 or whatever, don't think you're getting it on Saturday. You're getting it the moment you purchase it. So I intend every single one of you gets movement in your manifestation journey, gets evidence, get positive evidence. I intend all of you are patient, confident, secure. I intend all of you are getting a hang of this. You know, it's actually a fun thing now, manifesting for you. And I will see you guys in the next video.